Roxanne. On my speech, I am going to be doing it about ecstasy. Many of you may know or have taken ecstasy, but some of you may not know some of this information, so it might be good for you. Ecstasy is known as the love drug that can do anything. On this love drug is made out of like crystals, which is also known as MDMA. Also, it's this crystal drug is made to mainly give you a lot of energy, which can go away depending on the person. Some people can have it for a couple of hours, some people can have it for a short time. It just depends on the person, on their body. Um, what this drug does, as you take the pill, it goes into the small intestine, which then dissolves into small particles, and it absorbs into the bloodstream, um, which tends to get the person to feel full of energy, like they can't stop moving, they're needing to do something. Um, it tends to make people lose hearing, so they may not be able to hear as good as they usually do, makes them lose vision sometimes. Also, some people can tend to go into their feelings, and that tends to crashes the drug, which means it tends to make the drug go away and not have that feeling no more. It depends on the person, if you've done it a couple of times or if it's your first time. First timers, they tend to go into those feelings quickly as possible because they're not so used to being on this drug. They've never had any experience on being on a drug such as ecstasy. The next thing it usually does is it goes into the lungs and starts pumping, and it goes to your heart, and your heart's pounding repeatedly over and over at a fast pace. It also tends to go into the brain. It goes into the the brain walls. Um, it could do a lot of damage to the brain. You tend to lose memory. You go into depression. You feel tired. Uh, you have thoughts. It has more control on making people go into the most thing that's common is depression. You tend to not have an appetite. Also, you get very dehydrated, so you're super thirsty. Um, it also tends to make you feel a bit sore. But that's after it's passed through, and you're moving on from having the feeling of taking the pill. It tends to damage your your nervous system. It makes you have anxiety, lots of depression, as I said. Your heart can collapse. Many people have taken the pill once and they've collapsed at like in an hour or so because their body can't handle taking ecstasy. The last thing I want to talk about for my speech is that there's a really high rate of this year because it's starting at the age of 12. The kids are taking ecstasy. In 2001, it was like one of the highest rates, and then it started dropping down. It was more controlled with the ecstasy, and as of 2006, it started to rise up again and then back down, and now as of this year we're back up high on the rates. um Ecstasy can kill you. Some, like I said, some people can't handle taking it. It sometimes it makes people crash, which is like a as you call it, the hangover. Um, it's good that it passes through, but you should know that sometimes ecstasy can, like, the feeling can last from 2 days to a week, and that could be with just depression, the tiredness, the soreness in your muscles, or even still having that feeling as if you first took it. It can last as long as a week. Other people, when they take it, some it's even very common with those that have been taking it for a while. They tend to collapse, go into a coma, and ends up killing them. And it's because the body can't handle taking in the substance of ecstasy. It's just it's just a drug that no one should really be taking. And I've had plenty of my friends take it. I've lost some people that have taken it, and they've been taking it for a long time. But it's just because the body can't get used to it anymore, and some others it just can't get used to at all. So if there's gonna be any time that you take ecstasy, you should really look into it. Make sure you drink lots and lots of water, but we should try and stop the drug of ecstasy use at any parties, events, like concerts, anything, because the rate is growing for deaths and for a younger age that's taking ecstasy, like I said, 12-year-olds. But that's my speech.